How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 10 of Vampire the Masquerade Dark City. I will be the storyteller, Doug, and I would like to introduce the cast.
My name's Angela, also known as Gangrel Kitty, and I'll be playing Lillith tonight.
I'm Ryan, otherwise known as Voyce Ryleased, and I'll be playing Herkermer Milton.
Hey, I'm Michael, and I'll be portraying Hannibal Wagner tonight.
And I'm Xylus, and I'll be playing Charlie.
Okay. Well, been a long week. The holidays and everything. I hope everybody got home safe and was safe during the holiday weekend. For those of us in the States, at least. Let's move to shoutouts. So, once again, we are going to go ahead and shout out Vancouver by Night for putting a wonderful list of all the wonderful streams that you can watch for Vampire the Masquerade and Another World of Darkness. You could find it on the VTM subreddit for the complete list. But tonight, our shout out is going to be Table of Horrors. And you could find them at twitch.tv Table of Horrors. They stream Saturdays at 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The listing here, and there's a notation like the listing here in the actual Reddit file, I believe, is either inaccurate or maybe an old one or hasn't been updated, because they originally listed it at Friday. So, but when I looked at their stream, their chronicle is called London is Burning, which for those of you who are in the know of the V5 lore, probably involves some Inquisitors or two. So, once again, Table of Horrors. So, moving on with our announcements. So this month, now that it is December, we are going to be taking 2 weeks off at the end of December, from the 25th until the 3rd of January. So that's neither with Blades or Vampire the Masquerade Dark City. We'll be having new episodes those nights. We do plan on filling that time with other things. We're either one-shots or we're still working out the scheduling and things like that. So expect upcoming announcements about what we have planned for those 2 weeks we'll be off. But you can definitely still catch us here for content on those nights. YouTube. We are at 61 subscribers. And now that this is the 10th episode of Vampire the Masquerade, and Blades is well, was 17 our last episode?
Episode 18?
I think it was 18. Yeah. It's hard because it's getting almost 20. I just wanted to thank everybody who has subscribed to our YouTube channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe and ding the bell. This has been so helpful to us. We are 39 people away from our 100-person goal of so we can get our own custom URL for YouTube, and we just thank you for supporting us, and it really means a lot. And for the last little plug announcement, I want to plug our Facebook page and our Facebook group. Our Facebook page is Old School RPG Studios, and from there you can find the link to join OSRPG Streams, the group, where we have discussions and things about updates and announcements, of course, about things that are going on in tabletop gaming, as well as our own streams and YouTube video announcements and the normal run-of-the-mill type stuff. Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's be vampires. Balance. Inexorably, the entirety of our natural cycle relies on two fundamental premises. The conflict of two ideas, two natural occurring things in nature, struggling against each other to find an equilibrium. Balance is a fundamental goal that all creatures strive towards. But balance in a feudal society driven by the hunger, vitae, often precludes others. When two entities find balance, two structures, they end up subverting all underneath. All concerns are washed away, except for the two entities concerned. Introduce one change, though, and this balance can often be interrupted. As other elements strive for dominance, to rectify, to balance the scales, chaos can unfold. Tonight, we may see the unwinding, the unraveling, and tilting in our story. Tonight, we may see unbalance. The night has drifted on, sunset bringing cold weather front, the chill of oncoming winter. Herkermer, you stand at the precipice of Water Street. Individuals hastening themselves to their homes to escape the cold bite, the wind. You notice that in the atmosphere, the breath, the warmth escaping them. And you were reminded that despite your fleshy pallor, the mimicry of breathing that you naturally assume, that you are different. These nights have found you even more isolated. A coldness inside you growing, struggling against a memory of what you once were. Uncle Thomas comes walking down the street from the food shelter, carrying a hot meal, steam rising off of it. He carries in his other hand a tin cup, probably some coffee or tea. He notices you. Hey, Herkermer, hey! What are you doing? Hey, how you... You want some food?
Not right now, Uncle Thomas, but maybe later. Not much in the mood for eating. I'm actually looking for Susan and Little, if you've seen them.
I ain't seen Little. He's kind of wandered off with the other ones, you know. They haven't been around here too much. Susan,
Yeah, I heard.
Susan's well, she's the only one living there now. Any particular reason why?
I feel that I need to have a talk with them. Feel that there may be something that they need to talk to me about.
Oh yeah, they had him. I think they had a falling out.
That's what I want to talk about.
Well, you go on ahead. I gotta bring this to Buck.
Yeah, well, you take care of them, all right?
Oh, okay. Hey, are you moving out? Is your? I noticed you hadn't been in your spot and you were hauling some stuff out.
Yeah, I found a better spot for me. It's more close to people that I've started working with that I don't want to, bring around here anymore. And you don't have to worry about Desmond coming around no more.
Oh, I ain't paid him no bother. He always seemed a little standoffish to me. He's got dangerous eyes. But it's good, I suppose. It's good to hear that you're doing good. You come back around and you still have a home here, you know that.
Oh yeah, no, and this is not me forgetting about any of y'all. This is just me sleeping somewhere different.
Oh,
I
yeah.
still plan to come around every now and again.
Don't worry. Well, I'll try to keep everything in order. You got people coming and going all the time. It's figured a matter of time till you moved on. But you always have a home here.
Good to know. Good to know.
As you walk away in the direction that Uncle Thomas indicated, he says a parting. He's like, "You be careful with Susan. She's hurting real bad. Maybe you could cheer her up a little bit. She won't talk to me too, age differences or something. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to my box." And he kind of... You go your way, he goes his.
I was just making my way over to where I know Susan to be. Or at least I was told where she was.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
One small note before we continue. I have recorded that you ended the last session with 4 hunger.
3.
You have 3. Okay. Did you wish to use your circuitry system level 1 to slake a hunger for the evening? Since you do not hunt as other kindred hunt.
Sure.
Okay.
Is it just 1 hunger, or is
Yes, it's just
okay.
you're only going to be able to slake 1 hunger. As we discussed, you can obtain any vitae of a specific resonance that you wish with your lore sheet, or you can choose to slake 1 hunger. Where's my pencil? I had a pencil. Let's use a pen. Okay. So going on, you move into Water Street. You notice as normal, there's the normal residents, each in their own, shelter that they've erected, either out of the scraps or of debris, leftover boxes, metal sheeting, or out of the husks of the abandoned buildings that surround and encompass Water Street. You notice one of the buildings, the bottom floor of which used to be the shelter and safe haven of the gang that you have dubbed the Young'uns. The just oncoming 20-year-olds and such, but they have now abandoned. You notice that there is a single light on. A lantern that has been lit, and some candles You walk up to the door. A small back office that has been sort of cleared out into a sort of bunkhouse, as it were, with metal sheeting covering the back shed sort of area. Through this dirty glass, broken and forgotten, you see Susan sitting on a bed. There's a fire going on in a sort of barrel, very low now. You can feel some of the heat kind of starting to waft through the cracks and breaks and escapes in the wall. What do you do?
Kind of knock on the door, just give it a little rap. Susan?
She starts up from what she was looking at, some sort of magazine or something. She gets up and she walks over. You notice that she's covered in multiple layers of clothing as it is quite cold outside. And that has a way of infiltrating. As she leaves the center of warmth, she comes towards the door and she opens it up. She's a fairly tall woman. Younger, probably in her early 20s, like 21. Although she has a look on her that's much older than a person her age should be. Her hair is drawn back, curly, just to keep neat. You notice it's kind of fringed and not kept. Probably a little unhygienic, to be honest with you. She has dirt smears and grime over her face as a person who has not probably seen a shower in quite some time. She's like, Herkermer? What do you... And she has an attitude like that displayed on her face as soon as she recognizes who is at her door. What the fuck are you doing here?
I came to talk to you, actually.
I already told you, I'm not going and stealing shit for my own selfish bullshit.
And I agree with you. It's very, very complicated. Can I come in? We get you back to the heat.
Yeah, come in.
Go in.
You notice she wasn't looking at a magazine. She was looking at a newspaper that was curled up. As you walk in, there's want ads that have been circled. She's like, what? Go on. What do you want? I'm not dealing drugs for you. I'm not muling. I'm not going and stealing shit anymore.
And I'm proud of you for that. The last little while, I haven't been myself. I've been going through and dealing with my own issues and problems I have from my past, which unfortunately bled over to you all. And that, I think, guided the rest of them in the wrong direction.
Well, you're never our guide. Okay? I mean, I know that the others put you on and that you thought you were some sort of like father figure or something like that. I don't need a father. My own father was a piece of shit to me. Okay? And even though I see what you're like, I don't quite understand what you're saying, but look, I don't have time for whatever games you're playing.
This is no game.
Then what are you doing here?
Well, I came to apologize for anything that you may have heard me say.
Okay.
Apologize for the wrong that I've done. And I want to make sure that you are okay.
Yeah. I guess honestly, I probably should thank you. I mean, I was wrapped up in with these guys, and, look, I'm not saying that you didn't mean a lot. I had nothing before I came here. They took my kid away. I was left out on the street because I lost my job. And I was all into all sorts of drugs and shit, and it was just a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes, okay? But
So have we all.
But when I came here, that was one of the things that this place, I mean, you, Uncle Thomas, it seemed like you guys really gave a shit about each other. And, for a long time I believed that. And when you...
I still believe it.
Look, I need to focus on trying to get myself out of here, but I still think that this place is worth it. And
It is worth it. Especially if you start making your own way.
if you want to apologize to me, don't tell me. I've had plenty of people say they're sorry for what they did and then just turn around and back around and screw me over. If you want to say you're sorry to me, you show me. Because as far as I've seen, you just picked up and moved out just like everybody else. But I'm stuck here. Uncle Thomas is here. Buck is here. All the rest. These people are caring about each other. What am I supposed to do?
Well, I would ask that you carry on.
Are you gonna?
If I would
are you
ask
gonna?
anything.
Are you gonna help?
Of course. Just because I'm sleeping somewhere different doesn't mean I don't care about you guys. I just found a better place to sleep. It's drier, it's warmer,
Okay.
and it happens to be where I can actually do some good.
Okay. Well, good talk. Look, I gotta get some sleep. I gotta get up in the morning. I'm gonna try to... They have some work programs I might be able to get into. I don't know. And,
All right. Well,
I know some folks around here are getting cold. If you could,
Well, I was gonna say, I got a couple $100
Okay.
that I was gonna give to you because this is in no way in any kind of apology, or this is not worth an apology, but at least it'll be something to help you when you're going looking for jobs. Get you something better to wear.
Okay. She doesn't look like she completely is, trust you, but you've at least disarmed her.
Now, do you mind if I come back? I don't know, maybe not tomorrow, but within the next couple of days?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm very, very proud of what you have decided to do. You decided to not... You decided to only took what you need.
I mean, that's all. Okay.
So I'm very proud of you for that. And thank you. So, I will leave you and I'll see you in the next couple of days.
Okay.
All right.
Take care of yourself.
You as well, Susan. And Herkermer will exit, and will take the last of the money that Charlie gave him and go procure extra blankets. Basically go to, I don't know, a couple Salvation Armies, maybe go to a Goodwill or something like that. Some kind of used clothing store, and just buy, $100 worth of blankets.
Sure. So you spend the early hours of the evening going to the remaining stores that are open, or flea markets and such, and trying to procure supplies to survive cold that's coming on. So we're going to go ahead and move over to Charlie. Now, Charlie, you it's been a couple nights since we've found or touched bases with Charlie. You could please roll for me a rouse check for awakening.
I'm all good.
Okay. And I show you at being at hunger 2. Do you wish to spend the early night feeding? Or using herd, or...
So hold up. I'm moving my character sheet to the right screen.
No problem. I'm just looking for my scripto.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and slake hunger using herd.
Okay. So you're gonna use one portion of your herd. Just to refresh myself on the rules of herd. Quick. Oh, it's on the floor. So you okay. You managed to procure yourself just normal vitae using your herd. Last night you spent having received basically your normal business sort of reports and requests for sorts of things. You spent the majority of the night previous arranging those sorts of things, the normal updates for the parent group that your company is a part of. You find yourself returning from the floors of the hospital, where you have done your rounds, as it were, showing the personal touch. Going to people, looking through the reports of blood donors, talking with them a little bit. And on the way down, some of the vitae slips into, escapes the inventory. You walk in. The lab is dark. You see Emily over in the corner, in the second interior lab, doing her work. She greets you. Mr. Allsun.
Emily?
There's
How you doing?
an individual waiting in your office for you. Mr. Randall Pierce. I don't normally. I just, I asked if he had credentials. He's from the Sunrise Group.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. And she goes back to doing her lab duties. You enter into your office. The shades are drawn. You see an individual. Music here. Tall individual standing in a, I guess it's called a pinstripe suit, but it, you know, very, very nicely tailored pinstripe suit. He carries around him a cold air of authority. You notice that his cold, pallid skin is not blushed like it was the last time that you interacted with him before your embrace. He looks over at you, his eyes piercing, with an authority and knowledge of decades. Mr. Allsun.
Mr. Randall Pierce.
I hope you don't find this to be an intrusion. If it is, I will leave. But we did have business to discuss.
Indeed we did.
So may I consider myself formally invited for this meeting to your territory?
For the purposes of this meeting, yes.
There's been quite a few things that have happened since we've last spoken.
Yeah.
How are you acclimating yourself to our existence?
It's a process.
I see. It's a pity that your sire, as he says the word, there's a slip in his candor, his stone-cold exterior, a faint touch of malice touches his lips when he says those words. Couldn't be here. Pity your sire couldn't be here to properly see you through these steps, these first nights.
Well, I'm sure Prince Charles has his reasons. I'll trust in whatever wisdom lay behind his decision.
I'm sure he does. It is a pity. I do not want this to spoil whatever future we have. I still intend very much to create opportunities with your venture.
Well, with the link between that particular sire and myself being, well, almost thoroughly severed, I am now essentially a free agent.
Yes, and you will need allies, especially in the tower.
So what interest does the tower have with this humble little adventure?
The tower? tower wants what it wants. It's not my concern yet. At least here. That may change, however. You are in an interesting position. And we can help each other. From what I understand, the feeding over here, the territories, are rather at odds with each other. The tower likely has, in recent years, produced a certain scarcity. Those who control the blood markets on both sides of the river will stand to profit. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree.
You are in an interesting position. Here. A hospital. What do you intend to do with it?
Continue my work. We had promising breakthroughs, you know that.
Oh, yes. And, but since, the hostile acquisition of you and your, existence, we've been, forced to make other overtures to secure certain interests. No reason that we can't work together, though. There are individuals here who desire more forward thinkers, people who have access should a need arise. We are going to be making some hostile acquisitions of our own. Not of a nature of embrace, mind you. We would never embrace some of these individuals that exist over here. I come to you here because I want to know whether or not I have an ally in this. Or merely just a convenient enemy.
If it forwards progress on my work, and if it serves not to hinder my existence as it is now, I see no reason not to work together.
Good. Good. And provided what fruits come from our endeavors, we may be able to assist you with your sire. She's in quite a interesting predicament with our clan.
I had assumed something would happen to her with the clan.
Well, it has. Her position as Primogen has been removed, and she has been sanctioned or censured by the prince. She is not allowed to deal with anybody. More so, the prince's paranoia has become rampant. He has her watched night and day, if I tell of it. It could be very precarious being related to an individual such as her.
Trust me, it is. Whatever history lies between the Red Queen and my sire has already proven to be more than tenuous enough.
I had heard of the moniker. It's cute. Red Queen is a Brujah. And as a Brujah, you should probably stay out of her way when it comes to physical violence. But she's insignificant in the long run. I've dealt with cockroaches that were more frightening to me. We will be coming to you soon. Our acquisitions should be beginning fairly shortly. I don't want to discuss the details as things change, you understand. I will be having your friend Jake be contacting you on a regular basis. Of course, he knows nothing about us. But I did need an alternative in case you did not prove to be rewarding. And he has a dire hatred of you. Keep up the good work, Charlie Allsun. Maybe next time I will be able to give you something.
Well, if there's nothing further, I'll get back to my work.
Yes, the normal reports and such, of course, but your assistant has already given me those, so. He turns and he walks out. You're left there alone. A couple moments later, Emily comes in and checks on you. She's like halfway through explaining something, and then she kind of sees Charlie's pretty good at keeping the facial features, but what's the look on his face when she sees his face?
Like he's kind of deep in thought, a little bit like stuck. That mile-long gaze, just kind of pondering, looking for deeper meanings behind all of the words, pulling away layers of everything that was said, and dissecting that conversation.
Okay. Mr. I'm sorry, didn't want to disturb you. Here's the...
Oh, no, sorry.
Here's the latest batch reports from the scans that we've been doing. The new algorithms seem to be working. We've got to... Anyway, are you okay?
It was a little bit of an unrestful night. I'm spacing off and just not quite all there today.
Oh, is he your boss or something? I understand that we were acquired, but...
If there were a boss over this particular place, he would be an overseer.
I see.
Not necessarily someone who can affect what you're doing or your job, but...
Oh, is this like corporate business sort of politics type stuff?
In a sense, yes.
Okay. He had some questions about the break-in. I didn't know really what to tell him, but other than that, we really didn't talk.
I apologize. He probably didn't know about the incident, more or less, that you were involved in that. I apologize if that upset you.
Oh, no. It's fine. I'm kind of trying to move past it now. I just wish I could... I kind of wish I could talk to Mitch, but, not that my personal business is any of your business. we're still working it out. I left him. I don't know if you know that, but he won't be bothering us. I haven't really heard from him actually at all. So, well, I gotta go.
You're smart. I trust you to do the right thing by yourself.
Yeah. You're left there pondering. Do you do anything else like with your time other than just think?
Charlie is going to kind of put his nose to the grindstone in a fashion, and he's really going to think about what he can do to increase the yield off of the bags.
Okay.
So he'll likely sit there trying to figure out the maximum amount of additive that he can use to the minimum amount of bagged blood.
Yeah. So he's basically just going over the what exists and maybe trying to conceive of new ways. So he dives himself once more into his technical research and work. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll move over to Hannibal. Now Hannibal, you and both Lillith left the last episode with Mitch and the conversations that were. But after that, where do you think you would have gone after? I mean, it's the next night, so let's go ahead and actually start there. Let's start with the rouse check. And then we'll figure out what Hannibal's doing for the evening, or in the early evening.
I failed the hunger check.
Okay, so I have you at 3
Yeah.
currently, so that put you at 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Hannibal attempting to either feed? Now, mind you, you would have to, because there was like your, well, let's just start with feeding. So are you going to feed or not?
Yeah, Hannibal will feed from the pigs that
Okay.
are in the Princess Haven.
Okay. So you go down into the Princess Haven early in the night, hunger really coring you. When you had woken up, you had noticed a note left on your table stand from Nikita saying, "Sorry, I let myself in. Irina wanted you to see this," and it has a newspaper article about an obituary for a Kevin Casey, who was involved in a car accident in which his body was emoliated just last night. And the newspaper article says, has written on it in her flowery script, "You're welcome." Seeing that rouses a certain hunger in you. And you go down into the old Princess Haven. The pigs have being recently fed on slightly rotten bodies, decayed corpses, but also I assume that you were bringing them normal food on a regular basis now that you have a blood supply there. Rather large pig you feed off of. You can go ahead and slake 1 hunger from them. Actually, we could do a roll to see if you could substitute with other animals that you could find in the area. Maybe like an animal ken manipulation. You're automatically gonna slake 1 hunger because you have access to the pigs.
Because of my blood potency, I only get half from animal and blood bags.
Yeah.
So it would mean I would end up needing to feed twice as much as anybody else. So that would probably kill the pigs and or draw attention.
So you're killing a pig? Just like 1 hunger? Or, well, you have to do... Let's just say you slake 1 hunger. You manage to feed sparingly off of all the pigs combined to give you 1 hunger. Or just like 1 hunger, putting you back down to 3. You're still pretty hungry. But, you seem to ride that pretty evenly throughout the episode, so... after that, are you doing anything else in the Princess Haven? Okay. So you walk out, you once again secure it. It's early in the evening. And where do you want to go? Essentially, what do you do?
Hannibal would have sent a text message to the burner phone that he has for Irina or whatever. It would say, "I'm welcome for what?" Apparently, someone died? Question mark.
You receive a text back. You didn't have to kill them.
So you were performing a favor or something? Question mark.
Just looking out. Winky face.
With that, Hannibal is going to probably head towards Carlos's world of Kink.
Okay.
You looking that up in the phone book?
It's in the phone book.
Or online or whatever.
It's under, well, I guess it's under... I don't know what it would be under, like, as far as, like, bars and nightclubs. Somewhere in Old Town. Are you, calling the number? It has, like, a little, like a picture of a, like a building, and it has, like, one of those, like, sort of Vegas light sort of, street signs, and, it has a Betty Boop sort of, or Betty Page sort of, caricature drawn on it, and she's like giving a wink. She has like a little like writing crop, and it says, "Your spanks are our specialty."
No, I'm not planning to call them. I'm just looking for their address.
Sure. Address is readily available in the phone book, as well as the number and contact information.
Herkermer will head that direction, basically.
Or Hannibal. Or Herkermer?
Yeah, sorry, no, Hannibal. Hannibal. Sorry. I don't know why I said Herkermer. Hannibal will be heading that direction.
Yeah, Herkermer, you abruptly turn around and start walking a direction you don't know why.
Sorry, I'm so used that Hannibal's been shadowing Herkermer for like a few episodes now that, you know.
It's
no, Herkermer's using the powers of the blood. Or was it Hannibal?
I don't know. So, just to show you guys, we're gonna revisit the map for a moment. Ooh, okay. So, Old Town, right, as you see here, and Martin Hill are basically the older parts of the city, where basically the original founding sort of parts of the city. There are many old buildings here, neighborhoods. The hospital here is right under where the sea is here. This is where St. Peregrine's is in your territory. I believe we've established that Lillith lives somewhere in the center here, in the kind of beginnings of the suburban, not suburban, but like older houses that seem to dominate the residential areas and districts of Old Town. Over here in the far corner, almost into Martin Hill, is where Carlo's world of Kink is. So as you travel across the city, once you enter the city, or once you enter that part of town, normally I'd make you roll, but you're kind of attentive, and because the territories have recently cropped up, you do notice that the patch symbols do change. You're not quite familiar with what all the symbols mean, of course, but you do notice that you pass basically through Krieg's territory on the main road leading there, and when you get off, it changes into the same territory of what presumably is Carlo, whoever runs that establishment, because their patch symbol is located on the sign. The building is a small, squat, 2-story building surrounded by a parking lot. Yeah.
I was going to mention, but you had gone into the description for the map, that I wanted to double check my notes. You can come back to me before you do this scene. Finish your description and everything like that. But I wanted to double check my notes before we go there, because I can't remember everything that was said about it. So if you want to transition like over to Lillith or something, and then come back later to the Carlos scene, that'd be totally fine.
Okay, that's fine. So you're heading on the way there, and we'll come back to that in a moment.
What I was really saying was that I was heading that direction. Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Lillith, you begin the evening. Give me a rouse check.
I failed.
Okay, so you go up to hunger 3, I'm showing.
Yeah.
Are you feeding? Are you going to attempt to feed?
I am going to attempt to feed, yes.
Okay, so give me your predator type roll against your territory, which is your chassis 3, so your difficulty successes is 3. A success will a successful test, I should say, will slake you 1 hunger, and with your blood potency, every success after that will.
What's my predator type roll? How many dice?
Your predator type. Remind me again. Yours what's your predator type again?
It's Sandman.
Sandman.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
oh, I thought Lillith was a bagger, because that's what you had said like last episode or the episode before.
My sheet has Sandman, so I don't know which one I should go with.
I thought you were a blood bagger. You're a blood bagger.
He's
correct.
Says Sandman, yeah. Okay, so bagger. We'll go bagger.
All right. So go ahead and give me a medicine. And let's go with manipulation.
Medicine and manipulation.
Yeah. As you basically take, on your EMT ride. So you basically early in the evening you go on EMT rides. You take blood from people while they're unconscious, or you put them under and then feed off of them.
Do I substitute my hunger die?
No. Oh, yes, you do. Yes, you do. Feeding tests, you still do. Yeah.
I only got one success.
Okay. So you do not find the opportunity to feed.
Okay.
By the time we enter into this scene. You are getting off work. You're at St. Peregrine's, cleaning the ambulance and so forth before it can go out, because you're only serving a part-time shift now. Jake is like hopping in back in and with the new guy essentially switching out, and he's like, oh man, we're gonna find that drug dealer tonight. I'm just gonna and talking about how he has to go treat all the sickos, as he calls them. You what are you doing?
I'll finish cleaning up the ambulance and I'm gonna text Mitch.
Okay.
You still alive? Question mark.
Yeah. I didn't know what to do, so I kind of went back to my house to clean up.
Okay, I'll meet you there.
Okay. After a short drive in your car to Mitch's apartment, you arrive.
I'll go get out.
Mm-hmm.
Go to his apartment. Knock.
Okay. He answers the door. And he's like, "Hey,
Can I come in?
do I call you Lily or something, or like you have a
No, don't call me
just
Lily.
Lilith?" Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. So, yeah.
Can I come in?
Yeah, come on, come in.
Yeah. I'll close the door behind me. So, did you fall asleep all morning, all day?
I was a little sluggish, but I mean, I
Were
passed
you
out,
able?
passed out in the afternoon.
So you were able to be out in the sun?
Yeah.
Weird.
You guys have some pretty hard drugs, or whatever you slipped me last night. It was pretty. You guys almost had me going there.
We weren't joking.
Sure.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Going to work?
No, I called out because
Oh, okay.
you said I was going to call out or something. Besides, I'm really sick. I feel really like just my stomach has just been killing me all day.
What'd you eat?
I haven't eaten anything. I can't stomach anything really. I've been on the pot like constantly. Thinking about maybe going to seeing a doctor about it, because well, I don't really want TMFI, but when there's blood,
That you shouldn't do that, maybe.
Yeah. What, you go see a doctor?
Yeah, no, don't do that.
Kind of pooping blood.
That you're also dead.
Right.
Can I see your hand? I'm gonna
Sure.
cut you, and you're gonna see it. It's gonna hurt. Don't be a baby.
Okay, have you cut me? What is it with you guys all wanted to cut each other or something like
Okay,
that?
fine. She will take a scalpel out and cut her palm.
He's like, I don't want to look at that. Ew.
Stop being a child.
He gets kind of like, even though it seems very unnatural for him to be aggressive, despite being a very physically built person, he seems to not comfortable being like assertive.
Yeah.
He's like, look. Okay, I get you guys are trying to help me out and stuff like that. I guess I was like ODing on some sort of weird drug or something like that, and you guys helped me. Like, that's fine. Really, I'm okay. Like, you guys don't have to cut each other. I don't know what this is. You're a friend of Herkermer's. That's great.
Touch your heart.
Can you guys just like leave me alone?
Touch your heart. Get a pulse. Get a pulse. This is what you do, right?
He touches his pulse. It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's a little weak.
A little weak.
Yeah. Look, I'm not feeling well tonight. Like, if you could just like come back later.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay, yeah, go. And he looks like he's about ready to get sick, and he's kind of starting to push you out.
I'll leave and start texting everybody else.
Okay. As you leave, he shuts the door, and you hear him running. Right, very, very like loud, retching sound comes from interior of his apartment. You're distracted by the squawk of the bird, your bird companion, on the branch nearby. Eye level with you. It's like, it gives you a look like, can't help some people. What text do you send the others?
HQ question mark.
And beginning with Herkermer, what is the response?
I don't know. It depends on if I'm done doing what I was doing or not.
You are. We'll assume that everybody except for Hannibal, who was about ready to embark over to the other side of town, is doing or done doing or pretty much at a point where they could receive a text. So beginning with Herkermer.
Okay, wanted to check on Mitch, but we'll be there soon.
Already checked on him.
Good. We'll talk when I get there.
Charlie?
I'll be on my way shortly.
Hannibal. Actually, oh yeah, go ahead. I'm gonna roll to see how your response is.
Oh, no need to worry. Hannibal doesn't respond.
Okay, but you do receive it.
Okay, cool.
So you go get in a car and drive back to the coterie haven, the mutual coterie haven that you have in your territory. Going back real quick to Hannibal, what are you doing?
I'll presume Hannibal has been doing some surveillance outside the place. Just watching from a distance, seeing like who's going in, who's going out, any obvious kindred or anything like that. any people who are also doing surveillance of some variety, like where they're standing, you know, if someone's outside smoking for a really long period of time, not actually talking to anybody, but they don't necessarily look like a security guard kind of a thing. Just generally getting sort of a lay of the land. Right?
Okay, the building is a squat 2-story building with in a newer sort of design. It's surrounded by a parking lot completely. It seems to it's standing in between the normal, like it's standing in basically its own corner. The nearest building to it on the same block is basically side of older sort of strip mall sort of buildings. The sign is a very bright yellow with red lettering sign in the classic sort of like 70s, big bulbs, Vegas style. It says Carlo's World of Kink, and it's flashing very, very gaudily. The parking lot is about maybe a quarter full of individuals. So there's about like 10 cars. You notice the people who get out are very normal looking, or normal looking in the way that they look like like they're wearing your typical t-shirts and jeans, and they don't look like they're exceptionally edgy or anything like that. You go ahead and give me an active scan with Auspex. I'll have you roll instead of me.
Three successes.
Okay. You notice on the outside of the building, an individual who seems to go unnoticed by the people coming in and out. Not that there's many people coming in and out, but there are a few who go in and they look at the big window with all kinds of BDSM and fetish paraphernalia that's kind of displayed, and with a purple velvet curtain, and they seem to be just walking past them without any sort of regard for the individual. To your supernatural senses, it seems that the individual is hiding themselves supernaturally. It's an individual who's dressed in a basically a leather getup, a bodysuit sort of thing, complete with a mask, and they're kind of just standing there looking like as a guard. They're probably about 10 feet away from the door's entrance. But other than that, you don't really notice. The building is actually, by the way, quite large. As far as like big, it occupies probably somewhere about a 80-foot by 80-foot premise, 100 feet, 80 to 100 feet square. Or is that not right? My measurements suck. So it's just a big building. Me and math.
100-foot long buildings, decent sized building. Yeah. I mean, not super huge, but still not small by any means.
Yeah.
So after a bit, Hannibal will grab some of his equipment, pistols, things like that, hiding them on him in his holsters and things like that, just in case things go south. And then he will head inside.
You were trying to keep yourself hidden during this, like occurrence. So go ahead and give me a.
What do you mean I was trying to keep myself hidden?
Where you were surveilling the place, presumably.
Yeah, sure. Like sitting in my car a distance away. I wasn't like hiding necessarily, but yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
So go ahead. Do you want to use stealth or drive, or like to position yourself to kind of to where you wouldn't be observed too easily?
Sure.
And it's your choice of attributes you want to use. I was presuming probably wits, but intelligence may apply, or...
I'll use intelligence. That is a messy critical.
Okay.
But a messy critical with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total successes.
Okay, so you could completely escape notice. The as far as the messiness of it, I have example messy critical things that I can look at. Sometimes it's hard to come up. Messy criticals always turn up in the worst time, it seems.
That's true. In a situation like this, like what happens? Like, do I like stealthily, angrily shut my door or something? Like break the handle, or you know what I mean?
Okay, so I'll say that your stealth is so good that when you walk up, you frighten the individual. You see the individual start as they see you, and it looks like they stiffen. They start angling towards the door more. They look very aggressive. So
I'll just give him one of those like nice suit, you know, as I'm like walking.
He like starts around, like, because obviously he is not, and he's like,
I'm not like trying to point him out or anything. I'm just sort of saying it, right? Mm-hmm. As I'm approaching the door.
Okay. He maintains his composure. But yeah, he definitely does not seem to like you very much when he does notice you. When you do make yourself apparent. He seems to be eyeballing you. And he does follow you kind of in. You walk into a I can't have it that loud. Okay, so you walk in. Ooh, so you walk into basically a very well-lit, with red and blue, very gaudy sort of atmosphere. You notice a large menu that is displayed on a wall behind a desk, a kiosk sort of a thing. There's a woman there standing in a obviously prefabricated sort of uniform that says Carlo's World of Kink. She has, but it's like, imagine like a fast food worker, right? If you were to take their uniform, but make it in a like bondage gear, right? That sort of aesthetic, even though it's like not really revealing in any sort of way. And she looks completely bored. She's like, hello, welcome to Carlo's World of Kink. Your spanking is our specialty. Would you like to try something? And she looks just as there's all kinds of services. And there's a huge wall, in a very tacky sort of salesman, like, you know, try this. And it's like either like a crops and paddles and things like that, you know, very retail oriented sort of environment you're getting in this very large room with there is a sort of a velvet carpet that leads back between two curtained opening that is drawn shut. Have you ever been here before?
I'm here for the Special Suckers Club.
Okay, Special Suckers Club coming right up. And that will be $5. Such a deal.
Hannibal is like rethinking what the decisions he's made. Sure, he puts $5, on the counter.
She kind of sees a look on his face because I imagine he's just. I mean, how did one keep his composure in this environment?
Yeah.
And she just gives him a look like, dude, I don't know. I just work here. She takes it.
Is there a tip jar or anything?
Yes, there is.
I'll put a tip, much more than $5 in there for her.
Okay, here's your ticket. And she rings the bell. And out from behind the curtain comes an individual dressed in basically the same sort of outfit that the person in front is wearing. And they give you a look up and down, a really intent one. You can't see any facial features because they're wearing a mask, essentially. You can only see really their mouth. And he gives you a look. He's like, Special Suckers Club?
Yeah.
Right this way, sir.
Okay.
And he takes the ticket from your hand, and he walks you through past the curtains. And you walk down a hallway where there's basically rooms cordoned off as you're walking through, like the sort of maze-like interior of different rooms where you could see basically the place looks extremely touristy. Like, like not any people who are seriously into fetish or BDSM culture are like really the people who are patrons of this place. It's really just kind of tacky and informal. You get these rooms that you see are basically large rooms that are kind of fashioned up with chairs and couches and that sort of things. And you see, you walk past people like with most of the curtains are drawn and that sort of stuff. And it has like sort of the, like a nameplate sort of, the thing like a temporary, like hanging nameplate that's been put up like of what type of thing that's going on in there. Like knife play and that sort of stuff. You hear walk back behind a room and there's like, oh daddy, it's like that's right, that's okay. Right.
Have you ever seen the movie Little Nicky?
No, I have not.
There's the part where the character walks by the window as he's going up the fire escape, and there's a person inside like with wax like pouring it and then like playing with their own yeah, this is that's what I'm imagining is happening basically right now. Just that kind of like, okay, well, enjoy yourself in there. Okay, moving on.
You go up the stairs and there is a sort of another set of rooms that are closed. And there's a landing that she walks you past where there's a kind of a roped off area to the front of the building. So you basically have gone all the way to the back of the building, up the stairs, and then through another little short area of what looks like private special rooms where other things might be going on, and then around a corner to a larger sort of open bar area, which seems to be fairly empty of anybody who's exuding any sort of fleshy power. You notice that there's about 5 guys, 5 large male-looking figures, dressed in gimp outfits, and they're kind of sitting all around a table watching some television. You notice that there's a lounge couch with all kinds of paraphernalia, drug paraphernalia, and you know, drinks, and you know, like it looks like it got hit by a party, and you know, no one's there to clean up. You notice a individual sitting on a couch surrounded by two other individuals who are dressed in sort of like street gear, like normal, sort of casual, and they seem to be having a conversation. The individual on the couch reminds you very much of a Hugh Hefner sort of individual. He's wearing like the robe and the, you know, like red bathrobe, like dress bathrobe with a nice shirt, and a tie that's very gaudy and completely contrasting with the rest of the colors. So it looks kind of like out of place. Like he thinks it looks great, but it really doesn't make it look better. You know, anything look better. He has kind of like slick back hair that's curly in the back, and a goatee, and the person who is escorting you gestures for you to hold and walks up and whispers in his ear, and then like, come on in.
Hannibal will approach whoever this person is.
Your name, sir.
Remember them from the gathering?
You did not remember seeing him at the gathering. The other two individuals you do recognize. They seem to be individuals who are hanging out with Krieg's sort of area. Although maybe not with Krieg, just in his kind of upper level area.
Okay. But sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You had said what he was asking who I was?
Hey, it's like, your name, sir. Oh, excuse me. It's okay. And they get up and they walk over to the bar. Have a seat. Have a seat.
Hannibal will sit down. This is the lounge area?
Yeah.
Okay. My name is Hannibal.
What brings you here, Hannibal?
I was looking for Carlo.
You found him.
Oh, so you're Carlo.
Oh, absolutely. What brings you to my fair establishment?
Well, recently, the Red Queen saw fit to give myself and the coterie that I'm a part of the Cole's old domain. And we had an issue in which Grayson, after feeding from one of your dolls, did some bad things, we'll say.
Yeah. I thought I recognized you.
You remember me from somewhere?
Yes.
I don't remember having made your acquaintance. I'm sorry for that, if we've met before.
Oh, no, we've never met. I just recognize you. I'm sorry for the confusion there.
Where do you recognize me from?
Oh, I see you. I see you and a rabbit. Fucked up things, you know. Drinking can often lead to certain enlightening things. You ever venture outside your body? I have those moments all the time. The moment you walked in here, I recognized you. Although we've never met.
You're wandering outside of your body?
Something like that. I don't know. Something about a rabbit, though. And a sparrow. Definitely seen it. Anyway, what brings you here? You had an incident.
I was trying to figure out if you were aware of the tampering that had been done to one of your dolls.
Oh, yeah. Queen comes up in here thinking it's Full Fang Day. She roused me around a little bit. Truth to tell you, I'm really sorry. I did not know my product was being tampered with.
Yeah. So, if it wasn't you, it was someone else. Do you remember the evening, perhaps, and how everything sort of transitioned?
Oh, well, I mostly just arrange these things. You understand, Betty's an employee of mine. We made an agreement. You know, she goes out and helps folks out with, whatever they might need. And, I make sure she's, protected. That nobody roughs her up, or, goes a little farther than they should. But she had apparently made a side deal with something.
Yeah, probably wouldn't serve your business well to have your customers, be negatively affected by the blood they drink.
Oh, so. I agree 100%. I cater to a pure product. And the clientele rely on my assurances.
Although I haven't been around the territory for some time, being new to the city and all, I presume rumor will spread, though, about what took place.
Oh, it already has.
I would have no problem correcting people regarding that it was not your fault. I guess in exchange, I'd like to dig into the matter a little further. There's apparently some strange things going on with a group of people or something known as the... what were they called? Some sort of network or something.
Oh, you mean the system?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're all a part of the system. At least me and my associates and the people I work with. There's a lot of people who cater to... Well, there's a lot of demand. And where there's demand, there's always somebody who's willing to supply. Hence me.
Sure.
But yes, somebody has been meddling where they shouldn't.
Yeah, and I think that's what I'm trying to figure out. See, I have a friend that also works for the circulatory system. And I would hate to see these sorts of things continue to take place.
Oh, of course.
And so my hope, as it would be, is to perhaps be one individual amongst many that will surgically remove whatever cancer is growing within your organization. It's just a matter of trying to find out where that growth is.
I'd be more than happy to supply that to you. Question is, see, inevitably, there's going to be some blowback from the situation, which is the reason why I haven't dealt with it myself. You understand? I have to go out and find new people to supply me with things. Couriers. New blood source supplies. You would be helping me. But I will have to expend more effort. Now, I'm a businessman. And I do believe that I'd be willing to part with information because it is beneficial to me. But question is, if I do impart this information, What sort of future prospects do you and I have?
I think working together would prove that there's could be a positive relationship between our two groups, in a manner of speaking. Mm-hmm. Also, are you aware of who Desmond is?
Yes. He's Duskborn.
He's been torpored.
Interesting.
Yeah. He was breaking the rules in our territory.
I see, yes. That's not good. Breaking rules. I mean, not that I really prefer most of the rules that get handed down to us by our queen, but rules gotta be rules. Gotta respect one's enterprise. Can't come in here, ruin the business. Desmond probably deserved it. Poor Desmond. You see, most people in the city don't like Dustborn. I think they're the wave of the future. New market opening up for Dustborn. And only Dustborn can supply certain things. I'm an innovator. And that's part of the problem. See, the individuals you're talking about that Desmond circulated with, they've are the ones who have been tampering with the product. Something they put in the enhancements or additives. They didn't pass checks. They didn't pass regulation. Not that I'm about enhancing my product, but I would like to at least approve those enhancements if that were. Problem is that if I tell you where they are, well, just to put it frankly, you support my rival competition.
Who's your rival?
Mr. Malone.
No, he's your rival.
Well, he sees himself as my competition, and unfortunately, he has opened up quite a significant market in his area of town since Andrew Cole went missing. And now, from what I understand, he's been inviting and parlaying with the Thin Bloods. Now I find that deeply betraying, because I've always protected the Thin Bloods. I've always been an advocate for the Thin Bloods. I think we should be innovators, looking to the future, not burdened with myths and legends from the past. There's nothing scary about Thin Bloods to me. But they aren't unified. So I'll tell you what. You can go ahead and deal with these individuals. And at the same time, if you could look into the Thin Blood situation, something that's beneficial to you, but also in a way beneficial to me, maybe we might have come out with this with an understanding, and you, with your newly acquired property, hospital, would be willing to look for a humble merchant. A lot of blood flows through there. You're going to need distribution. Think of it not as an exchange, but really us forming a relationship.
Sure. I would ask then, you had mentioned Malone and him being sort of a pseudo rival of yours. What are your expectations? You had
I don't mind him. Anybody should be able to start their own enterprise.
Sure.
But he's... if you could remove his thin blood element, maybe bring him down a notch, put him back in his hole. Besides, he's going to lead you to nothing but trouble. I mean, at least...
Why do you say that?
Well, he has no care for the Masquerade. And say what you want about this place.
Are you aware of him breaking the Masquerade in some way?
No, but look at it. The reason why blood isn't so demand in this city is because of hunters. Because people go missing from time to time. Individuals like me make it to where wells can be more secured, where feeding still goes on more secured. Because I am taking the steps to keep it out of the local circles. Racks and things like that don't exist in the city, except for in your territory, where Malone just doesn't care. Sooner or later, that's going to attract some negative interest.
You had mentioned Malone's interaction with Thin Bloods. Are you aware of something that's going on there, or is that what you're asking me to look into?
Look into it. I would prefer if the two, neither the twain shall meet.
I can't make that promise, and I'm going to be very honest about that right now. A member of my coterie is a Duskborn, and has said that Duskborns are welcome in our territory at any point in time. And should Duskborns interact with Smokes Malone within our territory, who is also a person that we've given residency to, as long as he pays a portion of our tithe. Can't say that I'm hearing anything that would dissuade me in any other direction. Now, if he's breaking the rules, if he's breaking the Masquerade, if he's committing crimes and doing something wrong, then that's definitely an issue.
You're right. It is your territory. And, you dealing with this little issue for me would be, rather quaint and easy. And you are doing me a favor.
I just wanted to be honest about the state of my coterie's territory.
Oh, I understand.
So that you understand that if you want to continue to move forward with business in the future, forming a relationship regarding the blood of the hospital that you had mentioned, that you would understand that these are the things that exist. However, if I do find that Malone is breaking the rules or breaking the Masquerade, well, that'll change everything, won't it?
It will. Well, you can find the cookers at it's a sort of an underground kitchen they use out of a burnt out old warehouse just on the fringe of Old Town in the Pier District. They traffic out whatever it is they cook down there. In between running, you know, blood dolls and such. I'd be careful with it, though. Don't be too violent on them. And they especially don't like, well, full fangs, as they call us. They got a real chip on their shoulder. I only managed to barely secure enough agreement with them. It's not surprising that they ended up going on their own way. But you treat them nice.
I'll treat them nice, but if they're tampering with your blood supply and making your business look bad...
Well, they're tampering with the entire blood supply. It's not mine. I do not own the circulatory system. I am merely one member of it. One point of distribution.
I meant more in the way of that they tampered with Betty.
Oh, absolutely. Unfortunately, I had to dismiss poor Betty. I think you'll find that who you make deals with in this city will greatly affect future. Things are moving around now. Maybe you're because of that. Maybe it's because of you. You have a bright future ahead of you anyway. Well, in a manner of speaking. I noticed that the moment you walked in the door.
I would speak on a personal note based on what you had said earlier.
Sure.
If you decide to go wandering, as you had said, outside your body, and you become aware of my personal information, I would hope you would keep that to yourself. Because if I hear it amongst the rumor mill, there's only a few people I can assume have gone spreading such tales.
Hmm.
I'm a private person. I prefer to keep my things very private. Just like I won't go around talking about you or your business, I would hope that you would show me the same regard.
I think that if anybody was listening to me about you, that you would probably be most certainly in trouble. They only come here because of one simple satisfaction. I don't deal in politics, and I don't care. Everybody is a free agent and able to do what they want. But you're headed somewhere. But we could.
Well,
I'll keep it to myself.
I appreciate that. Thank you for meeting with me, Carlo. I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Oh, no problem. You should try the wax dripping. It's exciting. Stirs the beast a little.
I'll make a note of that. Have a good evening.
Good night.
And Hannibal will, walk out.
Okay, well that was intense. Oh, daddy. I think this is a good point to go to our break as you walk out of Carlo's world of kink. So with that, we will rejoin our coterie. Lillith, Herkermer, and Charlie. You all arrive first at the coterie haven. At an appropriate time, Hannibal will rejoin you. You sit there. I'm assuming Lillith probably got there first since she's the one who... Well, actually Charlie, because he's closer. Followed by Lillith and then Herkermer.
So, anyone seen Hannibal?
Not recently, no.
Yeah, not recently.
So I guess this is what we do every night.
Just wait for Hannibal?
Kind of feels like it.
Well, I mean, he is prone to unique entrances.
Real quick, yeah, Hannibal?
When you deem it dramatically appropriate, Doug, Hannibal, once he's finished the meeting with Carlo, will send a text to the group saying, on my way.
Okay.
Just simply put, right. So when you deem it appropriate for that message to go through.
Okay.
I wouldn't necessarily say that him showing up at whatever time he did wasn't good timing.
I mean, yeah, of course. But I'm saying generally, I don't know what our method of procedure is. Do we just meet here and wait for everybody, or do we just do our own thing, or...
I mean, I imagine that
You're the one who
we
called
do
us
our own
here.
thing until we get called together, yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't have anything for tonight. I just wanted to say what's up.
At that moment, you received the text on my way.
Well, apparently we're waiting for Hannibal.
Fashionably late as always.
Well, I'm gonna go
So-
take a nap.
Well, you said you went to check on Mitch. What'd you see? What happened?
Well, apparently he's like you. He has a pulse. He can stay up during the day, and he definitely does not believe that he is what he is. And he's pooping and throwing up.
Yeah, that's not healthy.
And he wants to go see a doctor.
That's not a good idea.
That's what I told him.
Well, shit. Guess I gotta talk to him.
I think he's creeped out by you.
Creeped out or not, I can still show him the ropes a little bit.
And not if he doesn't want to see them.
If he doesn't see the ropes, then more than likely he's gonna die.
Well, that's on him.
Not if I can help it.
I did what I needed to do that I thought was not going to work, and then he came back to life, and now I don't know what to do. So I'm not going to try again if he refuses to see it.
True, but you know, I do have a little bit more of a history with him than you do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, did you just try telling him, or was it like you showed him?
I
Some
showed him, and
things.
he stopped wanting to see. So I
Showed
cut my
him what?
hand. I cut my hand, and I showed him how I healed quickly, and he was like, "Yeah, whatever."
That's some pretty strong denial there.
Yeah.
I will note, Herkermer, all this conversation about what's going on with Mitch and the things that Lillith is bringing up does conjure back to your own embrace. You don't recall it being, in fact, like the idea of like this all of a sudden change is actually kind of not an idea that you would possess, because your change was, to your recollection, very slow and gradual. Like it wasn't an immediate thing.
It is kind of funny that his change is taking longer than mine.
His change took longer than yours.
Well, I'm amazed. Well, I don't know. Mine was slow. It was just little things here and there that I noticed. Like I didn't vomit. I didn't have anything coming out the other end. You know.
Maybe
I
he's
didn't.
instead of a kindred.
I suppose it's possible. Have we tried to make him feed yet?
No.
Well, I suppose that'll be the ultimate test.
What was he on?
I don't. What do you mean?
Well, it seems to me that he had to have drank some sort of vitae in order for this to happen. Where would he have gotten that?
Probably when Desmond gave him vitae to drink, I'd think. Doug, can you remind me how much blood Desmond had in his body when I inspected him?
Desmond?
Not Desmond, sorry. Mitch.
Mitch was insanguinated. He had not a single drop of blood in his body.
Okay.
He had been fed some sort of substance and threw out like a sort of a
Tube.
tube that was fed into his stomach. But he did not have any vitae. He had a very ensanguinated look.
So I think that Mitch, I might have made him what he is, and I think that's why the change is different. But I don't know how, because he was completely exsanguinated when I inspected him.
Well, that and you said he's walking around in the day. If he was a full blood, he wouldn't be doing that.
Well, I heard, wasn't it Hannibal that said that sometimes, depending on how old you are as a full blood, your childer could be half blood or something?
Yeah, I didn't hear him say anything about that.
I heard it was either him or it was Deacon.
Well, it may have been either one, but I don't think I was there for that conversation.
Oh, well, yeah, that's apparently if I were to embrace another, which would be Mitch, then he has a chance of being half-blooded.
Aha. Well, then I suppose I still need to talk to him.
Do you think we should go take him to the Red Queen?
Not yet. Let's figure out what he is first.
Okay.
Let's make him aware of what he is possibly first.
We should make him aware that we're going to be observing him, and that if he has any issues, that he can come to us with them.
Definitely.
I don't want to see this bleeding out into the rest of the hospital as some sort of medical professional gets their hands on something that they obviously shouldn't be seeing.
At that point in time, Hannibal, you arrive. Yes.
When Hannibal arrives back at the communal haven space, does he see the bird?
Yes.
He'll walk up nearby to wherever the bird is. Look at it, making sure it's paying attention to him.
Oh, the bird's definitely paying attention to you. It looks at you. Ah!
I need to speak to Barada. Privately. And then Hannibal will wait to see if it, seems like it understands what he's saying and at all.
You see a recognition in its eyes that there's something going on. It seems to be fairly interacting with you, like it seems to understand.
Okay. And then Hannibal will head inside then.
As you head inside, the bird flies off.
Hannibal comes walking into what I presume you guys are in the communal the private communal room, or are you guys out towards the front?
Private communal room.
Okay. So Hannibal will walk back there.
So we were just discussing Mitch. So I think I made Mitch. And I think that we are going to have a hard time trying to convince Mitch of what he is. He's half-blooded. Thin blood. But we have to go talk to him, and I think Charlie's right. We have to let him know he's under observation, and that if he runs into any difficulties, he should come seek us out. I was telling them that he is vomiting, he has diarrhea, and I don't understand, because that is definitely not what happened to me or Herkermer that I know of, right?
That's right. No, nothing like that happened to me. No, I'll get in touch with him here shortly.
Maybe we should all go.
I mean, if he's having a hard time adjusting, I mean, if we all sort of ambush him, won't they just
It'll
add
seem
to
like we're
his...
trying to prison him.
Yeah.
Well, I know he's not going to want to listen to Herkermer.
I mean, from my own embrace and others that I'm aware of, taking a heavy hand will prevent there being issues regarding the Masquerade and other things like that. You may not appreciate it.
I think that would be a good idea.
Maybe bring him here. Have him stay here for the week or something like that.
I think Herkermer and Hannibal would be the best ones to send for this. Herkermer, you know him the best out of all of us, and Hannibal, you're proficient with being that heavy hand, if need be.
He's my child. I think I'm going to take that place.
You don't know if he's your child, Lillith.
I know he's my child. He was exsanguinated before I gave him blood.
He was exsanguinated before... That's a different thing that you had told us the other night. Or at least maybe there was perhaps some confusion.
I never drained him. He didn't have any blood in his body.
Didn't you say that there was a feeding tube feeding some sort of stuff into him?
Yeah, but there was no blood in his body.
That stuff may have been infused with kindred vitae that could have turned him.
True.
For all we know.
True.
The responsibility of the situation, as far as we know, may not rest on your shoulders.
Is there a way to
good.
Who his sire is?
I mean, I've heard rumor there is, but I'm not sure how one would go about doing that. I've heard there's ways to tell what clan you are, etc., things like that, but I don't know how it's done or who does it.
Charlie, make an intelligence plus occult roll. Your difficulty for this is going to be 3 successes.
Well, I got 3 successes, so.
You're not sure why, how, or like, whether or not there's any legitimacy to it, but it is a fairly, you remember a discussion, after you were embraced about how do you know that we're the same clan, or with Helen, when you had asked her about clan and how you can learn, her commenting is like, well, I embraced you. Normally we would, if you weren't not known, we could take you to a Tremere. But other than that, maybe perhaps it's a custom that they have the ability to identify somehow. But
I don't know if this is a Camarilla custom only, but we could potentially take him to what's called a Tremere.
What's that?
had explained as they're the wizards.
I think that they're a separate clan with different skill sets.
Yes, Lilith.
I'm going to shoot a text to Deacon.
After a couple moments, he replies, "Yeah."
Do you know of a way? Well, first question. What? Never mind. I'm going to talk to you at some point. Bye.
Bye? Question mark. Smiley face. Pineapple, banana.
I was going to ask him a question, and then I remembered that you don't ask questions over the phone. So, okay. So, you guys go see Mitch. I'm going to go ask Deacon what he thinks. Even though the last 2 times I asked him, he came not fruitful with the answers.
So you think doing the same thing and expecting a different result is going to achieve something?
Maybe.
Is there anything else that anyone want to discuss while we're all in the same place?
I would say be very cautious if we do end up approaching a Tremere. From what I understand, they are dangerous.
Yeah, let's avoid that.
What about you, Herkermer?
I didn't have nothing special to talk about, but I mean, if you're going to go talk to a wizard of any kind, I'd suggest being prepared.
I don't know how you prepare for something like that. But I did have something I wanted to bring up.
I'm going to go. So I'll see you guys later.
I had something I wanted to bring up.
Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
Earlier this evening, I was visited by a business associate. This person works for the group that is responsible for the corporate merger of my company and our work at the hospital. They were also the ones who were originally intending to sire me and then kill me when it was convenient.
Bunch of ruthless bastards.
Yeah. They are of my clan. They do still have a vested interest in the things happening within the company. So for the time being, I'm playing nice so that we can work together. Their interests are in the research that I had been doing while I was living. Though it seems that they've also been pursuing other avenues, they still intend to follow up with the research that I'd done. I intend to push forward with that research, which may afford us some allies within the tower.
I'd say friends anywhere is worth it, at least for now. As long as those friends don't come to bite us at the end of the day. But that's just
Well,
me.
They're not particularly happy about the way that things happened. Helen saved me from them. And in turn, Prince Charles, as I've been told, has been paranoid about my sire, keeping 24/7 surveillance on her. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but I figure for the sake of transparency, I'd let you know what's going on.
Well, thank you for that. Means a lot. And we do got to go by, or at least I need to go talk with Carlo. It's been a while since I've seen him.
Who's Carlo?
Yeah, he was the guy running Betty.
Oh, he's a pimp?
No, he was running the doll. Betty
I
is the
ran down
doll.
that lead already.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, that's actually where I was before I came here.
Well, good to know. What'd you find out?
Carlo was aware of what was going on. He just didn't understand how bad it had gotten. He gave me a lead on the other individuals other than Desmond that had been involved in the manipulations of the blood, as it would be. They're dustborn like you, Herkermer, so I figured I could use your help on that one. Apparently Carlo mentioned that they don't like, what is it, the term, thick bloods or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's something that, I don't know, I guess that's thin blood talk for full vampires.
Yeah, they apparently are very standoffish towards full bloods, or however you want to refer to that, non-duskborn. And so I figured you would probably be the best person to approach them if you wanted to run down that lead.
I can help you out with that.
Yeah, I would think that it would be better for us to handle that one as a group, just in case. Carlo had mentioned that they're not violent, but still, if we're there shutting down their business or whatever, people get upset about stuff. So I'd rather us be enforced just in case.
Yeah, so I'm going to go. Bye.
Would you like some company?
Aren't you going to go see Mitch?
Well, eventually, but still, people going by themselves is kind of dangerous.
I look over at Hannibal. He does it.
And it's still dangerous.
I'm not 3 weeks old.
He does it.
And I'm concerned for him, too.
I'll be
I
all
need to
right.
go see Jake.
She's just going to see Deacon. She'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Who's Jake?
Apparently the contact for which the individuals who contacted me earlier will get a hold of me.
So Lilith is leaving at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Before we follow where Lilith is going, what did the rest of you do where each of, so I can organize which scenes I want to do, or
I'm gonna go try to find Jake.
You're gonna try to contact Jake?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Well, would Hannibal want to come with me to go talk to Mitch, or are we gonna go?
Charlie had asked, presumably, Hannibal to go with you in a sense. So Hannibal will sort of have that motion where he's like, "Shall we?" That sort of thing.
All right. So yeah, Herkermer and Hannibal will go.
Okay.
Searching out for Mitch.
So let's follow Lillith for the moment. So Lillith, you get in your car, and you drive to. Well, first, are you texting Deacon?
Yeah. I'll text him and let him know that I'm on my way.
Okay, he gives you an address. He's like, I'm kind of at a gig right now, but go ahead and stop here. It's almost done. I'm just watching.
Okay.
So the address he gives you is a short distance outside of your territory. It's a small nightclub. As you drive up, he's kind of walking away as he sees your car because he's kind of standing outside.
Yeah.
And you notice there's a bunch of people hauling equipment into a van. And he's like, sitting there talking with them, and then he kind of sees you, and then he starts walking towards your car.
So, what's up? I have a couple questions.
Sure. Let me hop in. And he gets in the passenger side. It's like, what you need?
So, we're trying to figure out that guy that got embraced last week.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out who embraced him, and does it matter to the Anarchs?
I don't think it does. People embrace over here. I think it's kind of ridiculous. They just kind of let anybody in. And then eventually they bring him up to the meeting so everybody knows who they are. But yeah, I mean, it's not they don't have to ask permission or anything.
Huh.
That was kind of an old thing before the revolt, before Mason's revolt. They used to clamp down on anarchs real bad, saying they can only embrace so many people. The tower.
Yeah.
It's like politics or something like that, But ever since the camp closed its doors, they really don't give a shit. I think they don't care because in their eyes, we're all just the hunters are gonna get us all anyway. So the more stupid that we are, the more of a distraction, I guess.
I guess. So what's a Tremere?
A Tremere?
Yeah.
Why do you want to know what a Tremere is?
Because we were trying to figure out how we can find out who embraced Mitch, and Charlie said something about hearing that the Tremere could help out with something like that.
I've heard that they have some way of being able to tell. It's kind of a rumor. I mean, they could do a lot of. I mean, Tremere have a lot of. People make fun of them a lot because of but they practice some really really weird shit. Tremere are. My sire says never trust them. They're the most vicious and ambitious of all the clans, even more than the Ventru. They will do anything to get what they want, and all they care about is their own power. That was obviously years ago. these days, you don't hear much about him. Apparently, they're having some sort of internal squabble or something. There's not many over on this side of the river. I do know one over here. Her name is, give me one moment. She hangs around with Victor Ash. She was one of the ones who came over back, you know, the people who fled the tower. Her name is Celia.
And she's an anarch?
Well, she's over here now. She doesn't talk much. You kind of get pointed at her, and, or, you know, she was... When Cole wanted to know about the Princess Haven, they asked her, paid her some sort of favors. She was hanging around with us for a little bit. She didn't talk to me so much, but she knew quite a bit about the princess history, the old princess history, and I guess that was important. Without her, you probably would have found his old haven. She's kind of got fair skin. She's she carries around this what do they call them? Shawls.
Mm-hmm.
It's like peacock ornate, like it has like a peacock pattern on it. It's really you can't miss it. She always has it on her. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if she could tell, but if you want to, I mean, that's the only Tremere that I know. And she, yeah, I don't know what their business was, but I wouldn't necessarily trust her off the bat. You know what I mean? Because she was working with Cole back in the day.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm new to this, and
oh, no worries.
still trying to get my legs out from under me.
Nope, no problem. I mean, I figure if I could help you, it's in some small way. You know, you guys have honestly been pretty cool, so.
Well, we try.
Well, I have another place I gotta be.
Okay.
You know, Tithe is coming up, and I gotta have something arranged to start paying the queen back. So if you need anything else, go ahead and text. But well, I mean, actually, never mind. It's pretty good for you coming here. Bye.
Bye.
And he gets out of the car. So we'll turn then. Let's turn to Charlie real quick, because you would just be able to call him. His offices are definitely located on the other side of the river, which I'm assuming Charlie is not going to be wanting to go to.
No.
And you don't know where he lives privately, because he's moved since you last interacted with him. So you call up his phone. You get his phone number from his office, and you call it up. Yeah, your voice sounds tired, and a little irritated. And you realize,
I wanted to call and touch bases with you.
Yeah, Chuck, you have some wonderful timing Why did you start working the graveyard shift?
I felt it would work better.
So yeah, touch bases. Go ahead. Make it quick because I'm tired, man. I gotta get back to sleep. I got an early morning tomorrow. Did Randall talk to you?
Randall did get a hold of me, yes. Is there anything that I can do to help make things a little bit easier for you?
Well, I don't know. Sell me your shares of the company. Oh, wait a minute. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to undercut me. So, no. Let's. Well, you're doing all these things these days. And I'm not really in the loop. So maybe, I don't know, you're working nights now, so maybe I could stop by. We could start working a little bit closer together, keeping tabs. You know, bring me back in.
You want back in? I can bring you back in.
Sure.
Look, I know things have been sour for a little while, and I wanted to give you time to deal with that in your own way.
Okay.
It's never been my intention to put you in a place where you wouldn't be effective. It's never been my intention to screw you over.
Okay.
So if I can bring you back in, I'd much rather have you there than the people that they would choose to put there.
Well, I guess you should have thought about that before you went ahead with the merger.
I thought you were on board.
Okay. Look, man, I'm tired. I'll start stopping by a couple times a week, and we can chit chat and go over things. And we got apparently there's I got some you know, I can oversee some of the stuff. They have some more samples to test, and you know, we could use those things, test out some storage solutions. There's apparently some new synthetics that are working. And we can get together on that.
I do have something for you. I have a new design for the synthetic.
You do?
Nobody's seen it but me, your eyes only. So whenever we set up a meeting, that's what I'd like to show you.
Okay then. Okay then. Well, I'll talk to you later, Chuck. You have a good one. And
Take it easy, Jake.
Have a great night. And he hangs up the phone. So moving back to Herkermer and Hannibal. You had left together. Is Hannibal driving, or is Herkermer driving the shipbox?
Hannibal does not get into that crappy car.
It runs perfect.
It's loud as fuck. I can hear it, and it's not even turned on right now.
So you So Hannibal.
Just an exhaust problem.
So Hannibal drives Herkermer over to Mitch's house, correct? You guys arrive.
Either that or we both take our own cars and meet over there. However it goes, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You guys both find yourself standing in front of Mitch's apartment complex.
Knock on the door.
Okay. You hear a toilet flush, and door opens, and Mitch is sitting there looking rather peaked and kind of wavering. He's like, "What?"
Actually, I had a question for you, Doug.
Yeah.
Would it have been possible to procure some vitae or some blood to bring him at all?
If you want to give me, yeah, okay, sure. You do have the ability. Say, you do have the connections with the circulatory system. You could probably have arranged to having known that you were gonna go meet Mitch later tonight, just for story purposes.
All right.
A small amount of vitae.
But I'm looking for like one bag, literally like one bag.
Sure. So you
Okay.
open the door, and he's like looking at you like, "What do you want?"
I came here to talk about what you're going through. Because I know what you're going through.
I'm fucking ill. That's what I'm going through.
You're more than ill.
Whatever you guys gave me last night has me, like, crapping out my colon.
What? May I come in?
Sure, it's kind of... He opens the door. You notice the living room, and it seems like it's been lived in the entire day. You know, blankets and things like that. You notice there's a bunch of containers of food and plates with not even, you know, eaten food. Just kind of sat there with only like maybe a bite taken out of it.
Not holding down food very well, are you?
No, dude.
Let me guess, whatever you put in comes up.
Pretty much.
It's because your body's not processing food the way it used to.
It's because whatever you guys... I think it's whatever you guys gave me last night. That was just horrible. Oh.
We didn't give you anything. But I brought this for you. And pulls out the blood bag.
Is it still sealed? Is the blood... Is it still sealed?
Yes.
He looks just like... Look at a drink. I'm not... Dude. Alright, you guys got a laugh out of it. That's great.
Snaps the seal.
As soon as you open the bag, his eyes fixate on it, and he reaches out, an instinct driving his actions, a glaze going over his eyes, and begins to feed, clutches it and starts to feed. After he's drained it quite quickly, he looks at you and he's like,
You feel better, don't you?
Fuck, dude. And he throws the bag away, like, away from him, as though it's like, it's dangerous. Dude, what the fuck is going on?
As it was tried to be explained to you earlier, you are now a vampire.
Yes, Hannibal.
Where is this conversation taking place? Are we like
Living
sitting
room.
at his dinner table?
You're in the
like,
living room-ish area.
And are we like sitting down? Like where is he in this whole thing?
He was sitting on the couch, let's say, and you guys were either standing or sitting in front of him, your choice. There's not much furniture in here, but you do have a place to sit.
Sure. Okay, I was just trying to understand where we were and like
Visually.
how he, like, were we standing like when he reached out for Herkermer, the blood and all that, that sort of thing. So yeah, okay. Now I'm on the same page. So
so what, I'm supposed to just go do...
You can say it.
Am I supposed to go drink blood now?
That is what you're going to have to do to survive. And from what I hear, you can walk around in the daylight.
How the fuck did this... Are we like that one movie? Like, am I gonna start glowing or something like that?
No, you're not going to start glowing. Okay? However, your body will die.
This is fucked, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You got drawn into an unfortunate set of circumstances. And now you're worse for wear.
So what the fuck am I supposed to do now?
Well, that's why I'm here. That's why Hannibal's here.
I woke up and I thought, hey, it's just like heavy drugs or something, and last night was kind of a weird trip.
No. You saw me coughing up smoke and fire.
I've seen some pretty vicious shit on drugs, dude.
Well, what you saw wasn't drug-induced.
Am I gonna like live forever?
Potentially. If you do it right.
As long as I feed on blood.
Yeah.
And this is why you wanted...
That's part of the reason.
Did you attack Emily?
No. No, that was some other jackass who could make himself look like me. And yes, there are creatures out there that can do that.
one step at a time, Herkermer. Let's not overwhelm.
Not my apologies. But yes, you are a creature that needs to drink blood now in order to survive.
Okay. I guess I gotta get my shift changed.
Well, I mean, if you can walk around in the daylight and you don't feel like that's going to mess you up too much.
Do you have any vacation time saved up?
Yeah, I got some.
How much?
About a month.
I think it might be time for you to take a few weeks off.
Okay.
At this stage that you are at, this being days old, the best thing that you could do right now is to get away from the life that you lived for a short time, to readjust to this thing that you are now, and then try to approach your life again and find the pieces that fit and the pieces that will have to fall away. So that means don't talk to Emily. That means don't work. It means give space to your family and close friends for a few weeks. Okay. Let them know you're taking a, vacation and you're going to be off in a cabin in the woods or something, just getting away for a bit or something.
Yeah.
So they're not worried. But I don't want to get too much into it, but we're not the only ones. You're not the only one. And there are rules.
Yeah, don't tell people.
Yes, but more than that. Being so new, there's a chance that you'll lose control and you'll end up breaking those rules. And that would mean you would die. And so it's probably better that you come stay with us for a few weeks until you can sort of get your head on straight.
Oh, okay. Sure. Okay.
I mean, Herkermer is probably going to be your biggest resource.
I don't have to sleep on the
especially
street, do I?
No.
No.
We have rooms and things you can stay in. It'll be a little dark and kind of dingy, like a basement or something. But clean beds, clean sheets, the whole thing.
Okay.
Who knows? You may learn how to cook.
What? I already know how to cook.
We'll get into that
Yeah.
later, but exciting.
Why don't you take some time, pack your stuff, and
He gets up very robotic-like. He's still very obviously not feeling very well, so he's kind of hunched over a little bit. He looks like he's like a person who's very sick. And he kind of, but he's still very walking and back in that daze that he was in when you left him last night. And he goes into his and comes back a couple minutes later with a bag full of clothes. Okay. I think I'm pretty. Sure. Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's go.
He leaves with you. Where do you guys both take him back to the Coterie Haven?
Yeah.
After that, what do you do?
Fix him a place to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Hannibal, for the time, will give him his room, just because Hannibal hasn't been staying here.
Sure.
Whatever room was supposed to be Hannibal's, he'll let Mitch take that room.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he stays in you. He seems to be sit down and you spend some time accommodating him. Okay. I would like to move to a scene that takes place a little further in the night after Lillith is done talking with Deacon. Where do you go, Lillith?
I guess she'll just drive back to her house.
As you drive back to your home, you park your car in your driveway. You notice the bird squawking. You walk into your house. And as soon as you enter in, you notice palpable presence. You close the door behind you. You walk in.
I'm going to do a rouse check and pop claws. I got one success. I passed my rouse check, sorry.
You feel claws come to your fingertips, standing there in the dark hallway. You hear in the kitchen the kitchen door open, or the refrigerator door open and shut.
I'll push the kitchen door open.
Standing there is a fairly tall individual wearing a stylish, not stylish, but the very, very nice leather jacket. Straight. It's got a white shirt. Everything but the two buttons unbuttoned. A very dark skin in person. The Mediterranean sort of look. As he sees you enter, his eyes glaze over you. The individual is not a stranger to you. You see the beast behind his eyes center upon you. No matter how dangerous your presence is with your claws, you still can't help but feel like you are his prey. You've not seen him in a little under a month. Ever since he came and gave you a card. But you always remember the first night he came up to you, when he took your life. He stares at you now as you walk in the door, frozen by that stare. What do you say?
I'll put my claws away. Good to see you again.
He takes a step forward. He gets uncomfortably close to you. Smelling. Not in a any way sensual at all. It was very rough, sort of like pulls out a card. An ally.
Takes the card. Reads it.
You see the name of a club and an address. Dark halo. He reaches down and grabs your arm. Pulls it up. Peels back the sleeve, exposing your tattoo. Have you found answers?
Yeah.
Turns your arm over, exposing your wrist. Two questions.
Can I save them for later?
Take what you want now.
2 questions. I can't think of any questions right now.
He turns and goes to walk out. He looks back at you. And his gaze slowly drifts out to the front. In general, he's looking at the wall, really. The bird is not mine.
I have a question. Do you know whose bird it is?
He points to where you put the card.
Yeah.
Krieg.
Good to know. Why?
He works for himself. And only himself.
Okay.
He turns, opens the back door from your kitchen to the back porch. Steps out of the light. The kitchen. And then vanishes. In dark mist. What do you do?
Gonna go back to HQ.
As you step out, bird squawks at you. Gives you a look like
I'm a little apprehensive, and I'll just kind of wave at it.
It's like, what's up?
I'm gonna try to talk to it.
It flaps down. It just kind of cocks its head and looks at you.
Are you collecting information, or are you assisting? Why am I talking to a bird in the middle of the street?
Bird gives the equivalent of a bird shrug. Because birds don't really have shoulders per se, like in the same way. So it's just kind of like, you know, it dips its head like, I don't know.
I'll give it a shiny that I'll find somewhere, like a hair clip or something, a hairpin. Is it like a crow or something?
No, it flap. It's a raven.
It's a raven.
It
Okay.
flaps back up to the perch where it normally is. Picks up something from that is it's nested. You notice the ring, silver, with I believe an onyx, if I remember.
Yep.
And then it puts it back, and it's just waiting. So, you from then on get into your car?
Yes.
and you drive back.
Yeah.
You walk in right as Herkermer and Hannibal are finishing settling in. Mitch.
Hey, what's up, Mitch? Want some bacon?
What?
Want some bacon?
And he kind of ducks for the bathroom, which is upstairs, unfortunately.
So, yeah, I just had an interesting adventure.
Well, do tell.
The bird isn't Barada's. It's Krieg's.
How did you find that out?
'Cause he came and visited me. Barada did.
Did you ask him what his generation was?
No? Was I supposed to?
I mean, it would have been helpful.
I didn't think about it. He asked me to ask him 2 questions, and I froze up.
Gotcha.
But he said he gave me this, and I'll show the group the card. He said that the club's name is the Dark Halo, and he said that I'd find an ally there.
Well, then maybe we're going clubbing.
We need to get you clubbing clothes.
I look better than I used to. I'm
I
clean.
You need clubbing clothes.
Probably a haircut too, and that whole thing.
What, I shave every night now? Damn.
What are you doing, Charlie?
Charlie is looking for Victor.
Oh, you're not even here, are you?
Nope.
Oh, okay, never mind. Sorry.
We will get to what Charlie's doing here in a moment once we...
So... Yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't think I would have thought to ask him about his generation, because then he would have known. He probably already knows that I embraced somebody potentially.
Well, if depending on his generation, it may have potentially proven that Mitch isn't your child. Or
But what if he is? I don't want to be like my own sire. I don't want to leave a person embraced that doesn't know anything. Like,
I'm not saying that you're going to not help him either way. I just want to remove this whatever guilt you seem to be feeling over this whole experience. And also to remind you that you're far too young to be trying to teach a new kindred how to exist.
I wasn't trying to teach him how to exist. I'm trying to help him.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's a sense of obligation, I guess, what I didn't get.
Sure.
I don't know. Sit on a psychologist's couch and figure this out all day. Point is, we need to follow our leads.
Yeah, for now, Mitch is just going to be taking a few weeks off. He's going to be working with Herkermer, who would know the most about Duskborn, and help Mitch adjust. And by the way, I'm not implying that you couldn't teach him stuff, because you've obviously learned quite a bit yourself. But I just mean, like, where you're at, I feel like you should be focusing more on learning things yourself, rather than the responsibility of having to teach brand spanking new kindred, right? Especially if he is a Dustborn, right?
Yeah. So we should probably go clubbing.
I mean, we could either follow that thread or we could go handle the thin blood thing.
I'd rather go clubbing tonight, no offense.
Sure.
Okay, cool.
We should bring Deacon.
Yeah, we should.
He'd
Maybe
probably enjoy it.
Maybe he's gonna be performing there. He does performances. I don't know.
I doubt he's going to perform at a club, though. From music, from what I understand, he plays a very different type of music.
Oh. So I'll text Deacon. Clubbing? Question mark.
Always.
Okay, meet me at, and then I'll give him HQ's address.
Hold on, I have to pick a shirt. While you're waiting, Charlie, what are you doing? Or is anybody contacting Charlie first of all, or is this just like?
Yeah, I'll shoot him a message after I shoot a message to Deacon.
And how does Charlie's message say? And how does
Charlie is
respond?
calling the Venture.
So the message to Charlie will say, "We are going clubbing. Are you available?"
Potentially.
You get a phone call. You call. Oh no! Finish what you were gonna say. Sorry, you were ready to say something.
Potentially. I'm tracking down some individuals of my clan.
Need help?
No, just hoping for a conversation.
Okay. Well, meet us at, and then I'll give him an address to the club, I guess. I'll give him the address to the club. Meet us here when you're done.
Sounds good.
Okay. You then are going to
Check out the card that he gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And look for a number on that and see if I can contact him.
There's a
Or does it have an address?
there is an address. There also is a cell phone number. It looks like you're like actually like full on legitimate business card. You call the cell phone number, and you receive a personal assistant, not the same voice of Victor's voice, but assistance. Hello, Victor, Mr. Ash's phone. I don't know how they would
This
say
is
it.
Charles Allsun calling for Mr. Ash.
I see. Mr. Ash is currently engaged. May I have him call you back at his earliest convenience?
Yes.
Would later tonight or tonight?
Later tonight would be preferable.
Very well. And you give her the number.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. You find yourselves a little while later, after Charlie hangs up and arranges for the phone call later in the night, and heads to meet the others at the Dark Halo. You find yourselves standing in front of a nightclub. It's at the back of a dark alley with a slope to it. It has a little halo. It says Dark Halo in just very simple lettering. Other than that, you wouldn't have never really even noticed it. There's a single door. You hear the thumping of a beat coming inside. There is a bouncer at the door with a line of people dressed in assorted nightwear and clubbing gear. It seems to be towards the end of the night, as it is still quite late. The nightclub is located at the end of Old Town, between Old Town and Martin Hill, south of where Carlo's Kink World was, very much south. As you were coming, you did notice that you were entering into Krieg's territory, as you are now fairly familiar with Krieg's patch, what it looks like. You're standing there. Deacon's there, dressed very clubby. And as you guys pulled up, and he's kind of recognizing where you guys were going, he's like, we're going to Krieg's place.
It's a club, right?
Yeah, I've heard some good things about it.
Good. Get in there and dance.
Sure. This is how you do this. And he gets out of the car, and you feel a magnetism surround Deacon, like an attraction. As he just kind of leads the way, like he knows where he's going, you know? And he walks up to the bouncer, and he's like, we're members. You know, like... the bouncer looks at all of you and looks at him with a trained eye, and gives a nod and passes and lets you all into the dark interior. It's in a small basement, flat, and encompasses the bottom of the building that is located under. There is a large thumping and rhythmic sort of club beat going on. You notice that there's a morass of people, mostly standing because it is pretty crammed at this point in time. In the far back, there's a bar lining the wall, which is, has a very shortened roof, giving the bartenders that are working and serving drinks kind of a nefarious look as they kind of poke their heads out from underneath the lips of the bar. And over in the corner, you notice that there is a separation from the rest of the dance floor, and a section with silver ropes cordon off the sides. Standing at the foot of the ropes is another large bouncer, and beyond it you can notice the familiar sight of Krieg, lounging in high-backed lounge couches, surrounded by individuals, presumably maybe herd of some form. That's the scene you find yourselves in. Deacon goes and starts dancing.
I'll go and approach Krieg.
I didn't prepare any dance music tonight, so otherwise I would play it for the audience. Okay, so you go up to the bouncers. What are the rest of you doing? Or are you just all following in her wake?
Clarification, is this Krieg's territory?
Yes.
This is his patch?
Mm-hmm.
And for the sake of our understanding, are we supposed to be invited onto a patch before we go there, or is it
rules aren't
just
exactly
don't
clear?
fuck up on someone else's patch?
When you're on somebody's patch, you're on somebody's patch. So you're technically under their authority.
Okay.
But I would remind you back in episode 4, at least according to Herkermer, or Herkermer, your understanding is you've actually been invited to the place by him.
So I'll walk up to Krieg and extend my hand. Or up to the bouncers, actually, first.
Bouncer looks you over, looks back at Krieg, and Krieg is like, gestures, let you pass.
Okay. I'll walk over then, and I will extend a hand.
Hi. Fuck off, ladies. Sorry. And once they get up and walk out of the VIP, kind of pissing and groaning, he's like, "Fine. If they knew how important it was for us to have our special moments. It's been a pleasure, and
Oh, this is Herkermer, Milton.
we've met."
We had a conversation.
This is Charlie Allsun.
Pleasure to meet you, Charlie. I remember you from the meeting.
Michael has.
Yeah.
Hannibal's not there. Hannibal followed Deacon.
Okay. He's basically
And
just
then went to the bar, and then it's like hanging out down there.
You do have a good vantage point on them. You're definitely looking over people from across the dance floor, but you do have a pretty good, because the bar does seem to line the entire good half of the corner of the room, so you have a pretty good angle on them to watch them from a distance, and also watch Deacon, as he's just kind of like attracting all the mortals around him. And Mr. Allsun and Milton, okay. And you're...
Lillith, Hanlon.
Yes, Lillith. Have a seat, please. Please, do you need anything?
No, I think we're good. Sure, I'll take a seat.
I noticed Deacon walk in with you.
Yeah, he likes clubbing.
Toreador. So what brings you to my humble establishment, other than maybe decided to take me up on my offer, Mr. Milton?
I don't know what offer that is, but I was informed that I would find an ally here, and I understand that there's also an arrangement for where I'm living with you.
And who informed you that I might be an ally?
Barada.
Oh. Yes, I suppose that would make sense. Yes. We have an arrangement, me and your sire.
Yeah. So I don't know how any of this works. So here I am.
You see, everybody in this city follows the deluded concept that they can serve some sort of ideal, or that they're independent of other people, when in actuality all they do is serve other folks, other individuals, a clan, sect, blood, even. Your sire and I have a deep understanding. We don't agree with each other. In fact, in a number of circumstances, we probably would hate each other. But out of all of these individuals who occupy our dark streets, I'm the only one who is only out for himself. And only himself. And I make no bones about that. It's why Red Queen hates me so much. It's the reason why I hate her so much. So when your sire came to me and said that he would be willing to help me solve a problem, I agreed. And that problem was that little tiny piece of land that you find yourself occupying is technically in my territory, but unfortunately, well, covet thy neighbor's lawn. You see, everybody says they work out for themselves, but really they just work for other people. And Mr. Ash, Victor, kind of my neighbor. And he's been butting in on my territory for a long time. Now, the rules aren't clear, because why would the Red Queen make rules that were clear? But when one person lays a challenge on another person's turf, it's kind of just a messy affair. It gets everybody in trouble. Eventually, which is the reason why she wanted to do it. Victor Ash laid a challenge on my turf, and Red Queen's been wanting to get rid of me for quite some time. So your sire says, oh, I'll square the deal. See that patch? That little piece of land? Well, I'll just make it known that I'm going to sit there. Your sire. And he works it out mysteriously, and all of a sudden I don't have to turf war. So, your sire's an interesting person. Very straight to the point. I like it. And he and I both disagree as we might and hate each other as we might. Understand that there are many individuals who are seeking to put their fangs in blood markets and control, and the way our way of life over here is going to change soon. I don't like change. I like things the way they are. And quite honestly, Anna or Camarilla makes no difference to me. I'm going to be an outsider no matter what.
You're neither one?
I pay lip service to the Anarch cause as much as I can. But they don't trust me. I'm clanless. Why would they?
You're clanless? I'm
a caitiff. I am what happens when I'm one step above the Duskborn. You see, we all apparently have some sort of mysterious curse. And you, your sire, your friend here, points to Charlie, and Deacon, and the brooding individual in the back somewhere. I think I lost sight of him. They all have a curse, because we should be scared of ancient vampire gods. And that curse, unfortunately, creates culture. Those cultures hate me because I am an abomination. I do not have their curse. Caitiff. The nut of it is I'm never going to be accepted by anybody, so why should I help anybody else? Unless it's for my own profit.
Makes sense.
So if your sire thinks that I'm an ally, I would say yes, I can be an ally. For the right price.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to do anything out of idealism, and I'm not going to do anything because it makes me feel good at the end of the day. You'll get nothing free from me, but my word is my bond. I always keep my word. It's all I have.
I have a question. And this might be a no-no, but do you know what generation Barada is?
No idea. A Xancilla of some sort.
Okay.
I know he's fairly old, but not as old as, like, Dutch.
Okay. So, does your alliance come with a price, or is it on a case-to-case basis?
Well, you're newbies in town, you're newcomers, and not only that, but you have such a wonderful territory over there that's been gifted to you just out of no consequence. Do you have any questions about why? Sooner or later, people are going to start poking in your territory.
Oh yeah, I know that. We have the hospital.
Mm-hmm. See, unlike others, I'm actually going to be polite and ask you for what do you want with a... We could benefit each other. See, I've been looking at expanding my own. A lot of people pay credence to the Queen, but at the end of the day, the powers lie in the blood markets. Rhoda is going to want your territory. The Ministry is going to want your territory. But I'm willing to work with you.
Everybody wanted that territory before me and my work came there. Why?
Well, it's a hospital. No one likes digging wells these days. Too many hunters about. Aren't you scared of that ghost story? No one wants to dig a well like me, or even your friend Smokes Malone. Racks are kind of gone out of style. People are too afraid of hunters hunting them down and killing them. I don't buy it.
But with modern technology, digging the well in a hospital is just about suicidal.
It's not so much what goes on the books as what is off the books. The hospital turns a lot of people away. Gives you a lot of access. There's that. And there's also, Cole was snooping around about something from the good old days. Used to be a center of power. The old Tower regime. Long live the king. Until the queen, of course, came along. That's what Cole was sniffing around about. At least from the rumor. And then now everybody's interested because apparently there's Sabat, from what I hear.
Yeah.
What would the former prince have held that would have been so valuable that people would want that?
I have no idea.
Patch.
He was a Tremere. Any number of things. Don't you know? Aren't you scared of the mysticism and the magic? Oh my. It's almost like the Wizard of Oz.
Books pertaining to mysticism and magic everywhere. Not everything leads to untold power.
We're quite the superstitious lot. I mean, they think that Herkermer over here is the harbinger of doom. And before that, they thought I was. I guess that, they may think that the mysterious and boogeyman Tremere, prince of yesterday yore, might have the secrets to bring back all of the good, comfortable days when they can just go and treat everybody else who is underneath them like shit. I don't care. The territory's wanted. And that's going to make some... And what's more is the Queen has made quite the effort in making sure that it stays under her thumb. First by giving it to Camarilla Turncoats, no offense. And then giving it to you, fledglings. Your words, not mine. Not Tower's words, sorry. You're not Tower anymore.
I never was Tower.
Oh, that's right. Weren't you, like, trained and then kicked out or something?
I was sired by someone who's in the Tower. But the Tower never accepted me. More specifically, Prince Charles declared that I was not to be trusted. I've still never even seen his face.
Very few have.
One has to wonder about the character of someone who would judge a person before they've even met.
Well, he's a Malkavian. They see things, didn't you know? All these superstitions that... This is why plans are just so ridiculous. Everybody puts all these things into... Now, granted, they might have some abilities. The Tremere, for sure, have some ability. Malkavians have some ability. But it's all super loaded, supercharged. Anybody can see anything. See. It's just a matter of patience. Know-how.
I just have to wonder if he's not afflicted by some sort of madness instead of power.
I don't know.
That is, after all, a rumor that...
All I know is that I'm not...
This was told to me.
All I know is that I'm not welcome in his city, and if the Red Queen were to have her way and reunite her holy war to abolish all who dared look down upon the anarch ideals, well, I wouldn't have any place in that future either. So...
So what is it that you want from the hospital? Or do you just want the patch?
I am looking for a place that can allow me to access Vitae. I've been trying to start a rack for quite some time. A feeding area. Having access to Vitae so we are not all beholden to the circulatory system, which does nothing but profit off of our fear. Same thing with the Queen. The tithe. Oh, scary Krieg's gonna come and take over. She institutes a tithe.
Well, the rack does nothing to solve the issues of the tithe.
No, except for it gives people a reason not to tithe. There's no...
Which invites war.
It would be looked down upon if I do it. But you already have one, and she hasn't done anything about that. All I'm asking is for a cut.
We already have one what?
Mr. Malone's place. Nobody really respected Malone. See, I like that. Everybody looked down upon him because he's a little off. Let's won't lie, he's a little off, little narcissistic. He thinks more about himself than people actually do. But people overlooked him, and now look at his operation. Because of you, I hear that he's in the position. He's got old Carlo all up in a weather, which has me pleased, by the way. Because fuck Carlo.
What is the difference between Carlo and Malone?
Carlo trades the specific. Anybody that Carlo doesn't want to have give blood to, does not get blood. He doesn't run the circuit, but he's a part of the problem. I'm talking about actual freedom to feed where you want. And fuck hunters. I haven't seen a hunter in, well, even if rumors were be believed, 10 years? I think that as long as we exercise caution and are a little smart about it. That's one thing I'll give the tower. They are smart about it.
So you're asking for a piece of the action as far as Vitae goes?
Yes. You and I incorporate, start a feeding rack somewhere. I can arrange for where. If you don't want it on your territory, you sponsor it, I take a cut.
What do you guys think?
I'll need some time to figure out what that's going to look like, because obviously it's going to drain from our stores.
Yes, you should wait until a tithe goes by, at least. Get a taste of paying your taxes.
Yeah, give us some time to think about it, and we'll come back to you.
Oh, I would be careful with working with Carlo, by the way. Since you're asking him what the difference is. The difference is that he's willing to sell whatever he wants to the tower. And he's willing to use other people that he says he's supposedly aligned with to get his way. Big up and comings for that one. He's no friend of mine. Enjoy the party.
Thanks.
Thank you for the hospitality.
And you have a good night.
You too. Does, as before... Oh, go ahead, Charlie. Sorry.
I'll hang back for a second and turn to face him before we leave. I know that the Red Queen doesn't necessarily look kind upon anyone who works with you. You've granted us hospitality, offered us a deal, and you've probably given us more information than anyone else would have. Just about for free. So I'll chalk it up to a favor that I owe you.
You don't owe me anything. I didn't tell you anything that you couldn't easily find out for yourself, so free information is free information. I can't set a price that's more valuable, otherwise I'd be robbing you. And as far as why I'm so nice, well, I see nothing but benefit. I've already had continuing relations with Lillith's sire, and why not continue? As far as you, well, who wouldn't want to be your ally? So I'm doing it all out of my own benefit, believe me. It's the Red Queen I would question. Because she will only make you do what she wants because otherwise she will hurt you. The only time I'm going to be inclined to hurt you is if you break a deal against me. And even then, it's usually so messy. Why bother? So, save your favors. Pay me when we actually exchange something of value between each other. And she,
good evening.
you too. Does Hannibal do anything? Well, the deacon just mostly is like dancing, trying to have fun. He's kind of keeping his eyes on the rest on the rest of them, right? You know, and he's like probably passing exchanges between you and them. But other than that, he seems to be just mostly just hanging out.
Yeah, Hannibal's basically doing the same. He's having drinks at the bar and then interacting with Deacon occasionally, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, you guys pass out the rest of the night. Hanging out before leaving. And since it is late here, I guess that will be the good point for us to leave this episode 10 of Vampire the Masquerade Dark City.